Welcome to the Freight Project podcast, brought to you by Ceresys, a North American third-party logistics company providing shippers transportation management technology and solutions.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Freight Project podcast. On today's episode, Ceresys welcomes our very own implementation manager, Tina Baker. Tina works with the Ceresys business development team to gather all the necessary information from the customer for a smooth transition into a partnership with Ceresys and our transportation management technology and solutions. You'll get to learn about Tina's extensive background in custom warehouse management system implementations, where she became quite experienced in the complexities of changing processes in a warehouse operation. On this episode, Tina will discuss what are some of the common problems shippers are facing in effectively managing transportation. Tina then shares from her experience in onboarding Ceresys shipper customers to utilize our transportation management solutions, some tips for shippers to survive and thrive in this and any capacity crunch. And finally, Tina will discuss why a focus on change management is important for supply chain and logistics managers and what the benefits are in understanding how change management is vital to long-term transportation management success. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Freight Project Podcast. And thanks for being here with us today, Tina. Really appreciate your time and the insights that you're going to give to the marketplace here on the Freight Project Podcast, where, as everyone knows, we like to offer up experts' tips in helping shippers navigate today's marketplace. It can be a struggle out there from time to time with things like the capacity crunch or just not enough resources and increased customer demand. So hopefully with Tina Baker's insights today as a guest on the podcast, you'll come away with a few tips that can arm you with making yourself more prepared to manage transportation. So with that, thanks again, Tina, for being here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at Ceresys?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Adam. I am the implementation manager here at Ceresys. Basically, I bridge the sales and operations process. So I work with the sales team to gather all the necessary information from the customer. And if we have any additional questions, I will ask those questions so that we have a smooth transition from the sales process into actually going live and using the Ceresys Rater. I help introduce the customer to the process of implementation, and I introduce them to their future support team that will help them along the way.
Oh, that's great. I know when I buy a product myself, at Amazon or something, I did that this weekend where I had to put something together. It'd be nice if I had an implementation manager to put together either my IKEA furniture or that newest toy for my kids. And so, that's a unique skill set to have, and one that probably takes a lot of experience of having to do something like that before. And it's fairly new to our company as a whole, as we saw customers really wanting to make sure that they were integrated into Ceresys when they signed up as seamlessly as possible so that they were the most successful. So, what got you involved to come work at Ceresys in the transportation management space? And what industry did you, work in and experience did you have before?
I actually came from a custom warehouse management software system, and I managed the implementations in that process. So I understood the complexities of changing the process from a warehouse operation and having to change everything that you do and using a new system from the accounting side all the way to the logistics side, and all of it, the changes that it entails. Technical requirements and system requirements, they need to be tracked and coordinated to ensure the customer has the data that they need to run their daily operation.
Well, that's good. That's a strong move from a very process-intensive industry, warehouse management, and some very extensive onboardings and implementations, especially as there's so many departments involved in that decision and implementation and use in order to get the return on their investment with that warehouse management system. It's a little bit different with our TMS. We're pretty light in that we're web-based, but it's not the technology these days that needs the most explanation. It's really making sure that, when we're onboarding our customers, we put together a shipper efficiency blueprint, also often referred to as a scope of work. And so there's those specific details and solutions that are key, and implementing them is what's going to make them successful. So because you do that day in and day out, you must have some insights into the common problems that shippers are facing in effectively managing transportation today. What are some common problems you're hearing from customers, and how are they solving them?
One of the biggest problems that we hear is that customers do not know what their actual shipping costs are. They have no way to track what they're actually spending. Typically, the warehouse manager is doing all of those decisions, and they have no system in place to hold that data. Ceresys and the Rater bring that data to the forefront. We allow our customers to track their spending, their freight spend, and make good business decisions. Another concern that a lot of our customers have are invoices and changing costs from what they thought they were going to pay to what their final payment was with the carriers. At Ceresys, we handle any re-rates or additional costs. We audit those invoices, we evaluate the additional charges, and we communicate with the carriers on the customer's behalf to ensure they're getting the best price possible.
And so it sounds like, effectively managing transportation and that mindset of maybe working with a 3PL such as Ceresys, customers are really looking at a lot of detail, a lot of relationships to manage, and there's a lot to handle there. And on top of that, with just that day-to-day communication, making sure that you're not being charged too much through an auditing process, having the experience and the know-how and the resources and time to actually go out and communicate to carriers is going to be tough enough on its own. But now one of the largest obstacles the industry is currently facing is the driver shortage. And thusly, this is creating a capacity crunch out there, which leads to increased rates. So what's a quick tip you could give shippers to help thrive and survive in this current capacity crunch we're facing?
The biggest thing that I see is that customers need to be flexible and be open to trying the new process. Using the Ceresys Rater and your Ceresys team, it helps you get the best possible price and the best carriers that are available. You need to trust your transportation management system as your partner. We're here to help you and to make the process smoother. Use our knowledge and expertise to make the best decision for your business.
Yeah, so I think I heard some key things there. Flexible, open to a new process, relying on technology as an enablement tool, and trusting in your partners and what they can provide to you from a best practices standpoint. So that just means, maybe a lot of change for a business from what they're used to. They've got to be more focused on managing transportation so that while they are having increased orders and seeing increased revenues, they're not losing money out the back door. And so, when it comes to managing transportation, the way shippers are going to thrive is focusing on changing their processes, maybe changing to a new system or technology, and really a deep look at how they've historically managed those transportation budgets. Therefore, it seems like change management is really vital for supply chain and logistics managers to focus on. And, from your perspective, Tina, what are the benefits of understanding how change management is truly vital to long-term effective transportation management?
Communication is the key to change management. If you can properly communicate your end goal, you can communicate that end goal to your partner as well as your internal employees. It allows you to get buy-in from everyone involved in the change process. Change is hard for everyone. And if everyone knows what that end goal is, you'll get your warehouse manager, your accounting staff, the logistics coordinator, the end warehouse user, as well as your 3PL involved in the implementation process. They'll all understand what the end goal is. And if everyone is allowed to get their voice heard and what their concerns are, and they know that their input is valued, they will have buy-in and make the process successful. Good communication gathers positive, constructive feedback, and it allows you to build on better transportation management system for everyone involved.
Yeah, I like that you said that it's really, important. Change management is going to work when you focus on the outcomes and when leadership is truly bought into those outcomes and communicates it from the top down. I think change is organizational if it's going to be sustainable. It's not just that logistics manager's job to force change. They've got to get their C-suite, their executives on board, because the logistics manager is not the only one who uses the TMS. Their coordinator may use it. Other locations that they're managing may use it. But there's also information such as, accounting data or carrier issues that need to maybe bubble up to the supply chain executive who's the logistics or the transportation manager's boss. And so it is in that collaboration and those shared goals where adoption will truly take place and change management can be effective, so you can truly realize the benefits of any new process or new technology as shippers are out there trying to, make sure they're as efficient as possible in some really exciting times, but also really busy, which can be ripe for waste and increased costs that are unnecessary. And so, Tina, thank you for sharing us your insights as our implementation manager. You're dealing with change day in and day out, either with it being a technological change or a process change, or heck, just a change that somebody's brought on an outsourced partner like Ceresys to help manage transportation more effectively. So folks out there, when you're looking at partners, one of the first things I'd ask is there a Tina at that organization to help you implement that change? And I think that's going to make you more effective. Wouldn't you agree, Tina?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, hey, thanks for being on the Freight Project podcast with us today. Really value your expert insights. Have a great day. And we hope to see you on the next episode. Take care, everyone.